of thousands of years, you know, and it's an awesome experience. You can't take that away from me. That's my reality. It happened. And I don't record much of that stuff because I don't want to carry equipment when I'm just now getting to know these creatures and they're getting to know who I am. And believe me, I can't see them, but they can see me. And they know I've got these boxes with eyeballs in them, these trail cameras, and they don't want to be bothered with that. They don't want humans to know they're around. So it's proven for me. It may not be proven for anybody else. There's so many things in the book and things I've done and seen, and getting zapped where you're paralyzed, you can't move because the creature doesn't want you to come out and discover it because for whatever reason you're too close to a juvenile, whatever. There's so much there. I mean, it's just a fascinating thing, and they're all around us, and just mind-boggling.
Last question.
Yes.
If I am going out in the woods to try to have an experience, and I use the inclusive I, any of my dear listeners who may be listening to this podcast and considering such, do I need to be fearful of my safety?
90% of the time, I would say no. If you are trying to harm them, they will take care of business. Or if you're trying to harm their young one.
If you just pitch a tent out in the middle of nowhere and you're staying put, just wanting to listen, hear, and observe, are you going to be safe?
You're going to be safe. They're very curious about humans. They're very curious about women and children, especially because they have families. We have families. There's only 5% DNA separating us and apes, chimps, bonobos, orangutans. Of course, that 5% is a vast amount of data and information to go from an ape to a human. But they know we have children. They know we have families. Their kids play. Our kids play. Their kids, play with sticks and rocks and swing from trees. And they interact with their parents. There's good ones and bad ones. There's, probably, time out for Junior Sasquatch because he's been a real jerk or what have you. But they want to watch you. Your best chance for an encounter, honestly, is to sit by a campfire at night in an area that is known for Sasquatch activity. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but throw some raw bacon on the fire or some raw hot dogs on an open fire. Let that smell waft through the air and just sit and listen. Get used to the sounds of the forest. But you will be safe if you're not doing anything over to threaten them. Because they don't want to call attention to themselves. If you harm a Sasquatch, what's going to be there the next day? 500, search and rescue people and cops and people with guns. But they don't want that. They're curious. They're very curious because they know we're related. I believe we're related somehow. Can't tell you exact how, but you'd be safe. I would I would stake my life. I would stake your life on it, but I would stake my life on it because I've done it many, many times. I've had one bluff charge where something came at me and it was really trying to scare me away. And it didn't work once. It did work once.
What happened where they tried to scare you away?
Well, I took a group out on the last expedition I led for BFRO. And when we got to this area, everybody who lived in town said, nobody goes to this area. Nobody but nobody. If you're the baddest hunting macho guy there is, nobody goes to this area after night. There's something weird there. So I said, well, guess where we're going for our expedition? And I took them down, and it was on the Trail of Tears. I'll say that. It was in the Trail of Tears, not Missouri. And we kept having I went there 3 times. A tree was pushed down the first day in front of the path where I had scouted the day before. We went there the next night, past that tree. Another tree had been pushed down where it had not been pushed down before. It happened again. Well, we got there on the last night, and we went to an area that I said, this is going to be where we stop, and decided if we're going to go any further. And we could hear the creatures running around. You could hear them walking. You could hear them throw little sticks and rocks at us. And we couldn't get them to react to our knocks or our howls. which usually is kind of irritating to them anyway. They'll just sit there and go, "You stupid humans." But anyway, I did my best samurai chatter from Ron Moorhead's Sierra Sounds, and the woods exploded. There was creatures running. You could hear the bipedal walking. We were down probably 20 feet in this old dried creek bed, and on the banks 20 feet up were the creatures on both sides of it. You just knew they were there. You could sense it. You could hear them walking. It was thunderous bipedal walking. It was nothing other than Sasquatches. And when I did that, the woods went crazy, and everybody huddled in a little pile and said, I think we got our money's worth. And so I asked everybody, "Do you want to go back?" And they said, "Yeah, we're good. We got our money's worth. We're good."
Really?
And I turned around and went back. I normally wouldn't do that, but I was responsible for these people. It was 11 o'clock at night in pitch dark. There was no moonlight, and all we had was our, and it was downhill. So it was a long walk back because the fear factor was there. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, they're surrounding," and I wasn't too worried. I was concerned for a couple of people there that were less than cautious and following the rules about nighttime behavior when you're hiking in a foreign area. So that was my main reason for going back, although I was a little concerned because they got really close. And I'm not worried about myself, but there's other people, and I'm responsible for them. So I have to, discretion's the better part of valor. So,
are you armed? Are you armed when you go on these expeditions, just in case?
No, I do carry a pistol in my car, but it's only for humans. I've had a gun pulled on me on a Sasquatch event one day. We ran into a couple of guys that were probably protecting a drug operation.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And even though it was not their property, it was Mark Twain National Forest, they encouraged us to leave because this was their parents' property before the government took it away back here during the Civil War.
I see.
I wasn't going to argue with the gun. The guy was brandishing a pistol. It's like, okay, we're gone. And so we got out of there. So ever since then, I've carried a pistol in my car. I do anyway, just for protection. It's a crazy world, but I'm not a crazy guy. It's just protection. Sasquatch, a little P-shirt I have is not going to harm a Sasquatch any way, shape, or form. I guarantee it. A little 45 isn't going to stop a Sasquatch, and I'm not even. I'm a no-kill person by all stretches. I do not believe in killing one for the sake of science. It's just not necessary.
Not necessary
we'll find
at all.
out soon enough.
Well, and
we'll find out soon enough.
If they're that close to us, the first one to kill one may have murder charges brought against them. How do we know that they won't?
Many hunters have told me they've had them in their sights, and they could not pull the trigger because it was too human looking.
Yeah.
And when they tell you that, that tells you something right there.
Mm-hmm.
I could have shot this thing with my 30-06 or 50 caliber gun or whatever they're carrying. There's all sorts of really high-powered rifles. I couldn't do it. It was too human. It looked like a human with a lot of hair. I mean, I've heard that a dozen times, or I've heard it once. And, it's true. They are a relative. They're as much human as ape, if you want to even throw the ape thing in here, because I may not be in the ape field, but I'm not going to pull a trigger on one. They're a fellow creature on the earth. There's no need. I'm not a hunter anyway, but they're out there, and they're all over. I got so much stuff I could tell you. That'd probably be for another tale, another show.
Carter Buschardt, you're a fascinating man. Tell us about the book again, please.
It is Sasquatch: Evidence of an Enigma. You can buy it through me in the paperback. If you want the Kindle version, you can go to Amazon and find Sasquatch: Evidence of an Enigma. You can contact me at sqexplorer@gmail.com. That's Sasquatch Explorer, sqexplorer@gmail.com. And just contact me. I'll send me a book. Pay me pay the price for the book and shipping, and it's yours.
Outstanding. Carter Buschardt, I will read the book. I have the Kindle version that I downloaded last night, so I will read it, and I'm quite sure I will enjoy it. Thank you so much, and thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Good, James. I enjoyed it immensely.
My
Do it
pleasure.
again.
My pleasure. Well, that's it. We're done. Thanks for tuning in. JamesStrongShow@hotmail.com. That's the email address. Send me your email address, and I will go ahead and send you a download or a link to the podcast. You can download it and listen to it at your leisure. That's it. We're done. Until next time, this is James Strong saying adios.